Welcome into the Friday College Football Show presented by Betfred Sportsbook. I am Drew Martin. We're giving out 3 plays on the Saturday's card. Hopefully go 3-0, if not 2-1. Guys, it has been a few weeks of just 1 and 2 here, grinding out like a little bit lower. So looking to change things up. Got 3 totals on the board, getting a little bit more into my comfort zone as well in terms of teams I cover a little bit more closely instead of just big games. So hopefully get after it, put some coin in our pocket. First up here, 3:30 Eastern, FAU at UTEP. That's Florida Atlantic at University of Texas, El Paso. 50.5 being the total. FAU -4-point road favorites at Betfred Sportsbook. First, let's look at the weather in El Paso. Up to about 15-mile-per-hour winds here. So, of course, throwing the football might affect it a little bit. And looking at these two teams' past performance, they're both 2-5 over under, meaning 2 overs, 5 unders. They're combined 4-10 over under. So they've both been under trenders here. And the real thing I like about this bet, which it is FAU and UTEP under 50.5. I'm on the under here. It's also boosted at Betfred Sportsbook. Is the matchup standpoint here, guys. When you look at this FAU defense, which I've watched a bunch of their games, almost all of them, went to 2 in person, where their strength is the defensive line, linebackers, in terms of being able to rotate guys in. They got a bunch of big boys, 230 plus, 6'4", taking up blockers. And first off, I think that projects well against UTEP. But also where they struggle with is kind of getting out in space. So when you look at their rush defense, guys, it's actually not that great because against teams like UCF, that Gus Malzahn offense, fast quarterback as well, out in space, that's where you can beat FAU. The problem for UTEP is they don't really do that. When you watch UTEP play, the Miners, they got a good offensive line. It's more ISOs, dives, powers, coming right at you, looking to bull you over and push you back. I think they're going to have a tough time moving the football against this Owl defense. I really do, because that's not the style that really works against this Owl defense. And when you look at UTEP's offensive side of the football, they're one of the slower teams in terms of tempo in the country, letting 27 seconds per snap go in terms of how long it takes them to snap the football. And actually, they're getting slower. Their last 3 games, 30 seconds per snap. That's one of the slowest tempo teams in the country. They're down there with like the military academies. When you watch them play, they just run a play and then they go back and huddle for a while, then run out another play. That's the perfect setup for an under. And in fact, they are the 5th slowest team tempo-wise the last 3 weeks. Down there with Air Force. If you're an SEC football fan watching Kentucky, they're down there with Kentucky, letting a lot of times, slip off the clock. And that's one of the profiles where I've actually had a lot of success personally betting unders. It's just teams that keep the ball on the ground, both of these two teams too, and letting time click off the play clock, off the game clock as well. So under FAU and UTEP, really like that one a lot. It's boosted at Betfred Sportsbook. So, hey guys, if you are in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Washington, Maryland, and soon Ohio, you'll see it up there on the top of the screen. Drew Martin on the under for FAU and UTEP. Best place to get it at is Betfred Sportsbook. Betfred gives you more. Got 2 games left here on Saturday's slate. Let's head to the MAC up next. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific kickoff. So early in the day here. Northern Illinois and Ohio. 64.5 is the total. We're now seeing Northern Illinois -3-point road favorites. I do like Northern Illinois here, but I'm going after this total. 64.5. I like it up and over. A couple reasons why. Another thing that I've had a lot of success in, sports bettors, one thing I like to say is look for change and go from that point forward. That's kind of the best way to win in sports betting, because the sports books, Betfred's going to have less to go off of in making this number. And so what that change is the quarterback for Northern Illinois, Rocky Lombardi. He got injured earlier in the year. He came back last week, The offense looked a lot better. They played a lot better. So that's what I'm going to go after here in terms of looking to bet Northern Illinois over the total when it sets up well. And guys, this setup, I think, does set up very well. You look at both of these two teams' pass defense struggling very much so. In fact, Ohio, the Bobcats, rank 131. There's 131 college football teams. They are the worst. They've let up the most passing yards so far this season, ranking 131. In Northern Illinois, not that much better, ranking 116. So I think both of these two teams going to be able to throw the football. We get Rocky Lombardi. We get Curtis Rourke as the quarterback for Ohio. For MAC standards, two pretty good quarterbacks at this level, in my opinion. Weather-wise, we're betting the total. Always important here. Athens, Ohio, looks 73 degrees, clear skies. Actually should be a good game to go to if you're in the Ohio area. But also a good game to score some points here, guys. I don't think weather will be too big of an issue. Both of these two teams combining for 11-3 over trenders. So they've both been scoring a lot of points overall. We got Northern Illinois 6-1 to the over. Ohio 5-2 to the over. Couple other points here. You know, we talked about FAU and their defense. Ohio was able to go for north of 40 points on them, and that was because they can get outside. You know, that's what they're looking to do. So I think that Northern Illinois will be susceptible to Ohio throwing the football. And obviously with Rocky Lombardi coming back, I think Northern Illinois is going to move the football more than their full season stats point to. That's that change that talked to at the top. So Northern Illinois, Ohio, up and over 64.5 for the second bet here, guys. Talking about the sponsor of the show, you know, 3 plays here for, couldn't be more thankful for Betfred Sportsbook. When you play in Betfred Sportsbook, no one gives out more free bonuses than Betfred. The more you bet, the bigger the bonus. Right now, if you sign up at betfredsports.com and you bet $50+, you'll receive $250 in free bets. Guys, check out Betfred Sportsbook. No one gives you more. Last game here, 3:30 Eastern. So all 3 games will be finished by East Coast dinner time here. Hopefully 2-1, if not 3-0. Last game up for you here, guys. Georgia Southern in Old Dominion, heading to the Sun Belt, 69 degrees, clear skies in Norfolk, Virginia. We get a total of 66 minus 2.5. That's ODU, the Monarchs, as the home favorite. I'm going up and over again, guys. 66 as the total. So got 1 under, 2 overs for you. Couple reasons why here. Look, Georgia Southern is one of the teams that changed a lot in the offseason in terms of going more up tempo. They weren't that high. You know, they actually used to run the triple option. Now under Clay Helton, they're looking to go up tempo. They got an experienced quarterback there, a transfer from Buffalo. They're actually a top 10 team in terms of pace, running a play every 21 seconds. So not letting a lot of time click off of the clock. They've actually averaged more than 30 points in their last 4 games, each of the last 4 games going over 30 points. So they're playing very well offensively right now. And they had 45 points last time out against one of the better group of 5 teams in the country, JMU. So one thing I like to do, again, is bet teams playing good offensive football to the over. Other teams that aren't playing good offensive football, look to bet them to the under. Well, Georgia Southern right now is playing very good offensively. Actually, passing yards, they're top 5 in the country, ranking number 3 with 359 passing yards per game. They're looking to throw it all over the football field. We got 69 degrees, clear skies in Norfolk. I think they'll be able to do so. And their defense ranking near the bottom, actually bottom 5 in the country, talking about Georgia Southern. So that's what they're looking to do, just outscore their opponents. That's how they're going to beat you. And I would look for more of that here. And going up against ODU, a top 20 team tempo-wise, letting 23 seconds go off the clock. So the numbers really pointing to a high-scoring game here. They had nearly 50 points last time out. The Monarchs did against Coastal Carolina, another really good team in the Sun Belt. And their defense ranking number 120 in terms of yards given up. So nearly bottom 10 in the country. The running back had over 250 yards last game against Coastal. That was Blake Watson. I would look for him to explode for some more here. So Georgia Southern, ODU, up and over 66. We got Northern Illinois and Ohio up and over 64.5. So those are the 2 overs. Got 1 under as well, guys. And remember, check out Betfred Sportsbook, guys. Rich history here in Europe. They're making the push over to the legal sports betting world in the United States. Give them a look. No one gives you more. They're a betting partner of the Bengals, Broncos in the NFL, the Rockies in Major League Baseball. If you like betting sports, you like kind of the personalization of sports books, Betfred's for you guys. And if you're in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Washington, Maryland, Ohio, we got this boost for you. Sign up for the sports book. That is FAU and UTEP under 50.5. Boosted. It's going to cost you less to do so at Betfred Sportsbook. I am Drew Martin. Follow Betfred on Twitter at Betfred Sports. Follow me on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. Last time here, guys. FAU, UTEP under 50.5. NIU, Ohio over 64.5. And Georgia Southern, Old Dominion over 66. That does it. Hopefully 2-1, if not 3-0, guys. Cash those tickets this weekend. Have a fun, safe weekend. We'll talk next week. Thanks for tuning in.